Welcome to the EOB podcast, where we talk about the weekend's box office and the new openings this week. I am Benno, and joining me is Sen Duong. So Sen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Hey, we had a lot of obstacles for today's podcast. A lot of stuff happening.
Yeah,
Yep.
have to move a pool table and stuff, and people dropping by. That's what happens when you work at home.
But we're here. This time for sure, we're going to complete this podcast.
Right.
Let's get started with the weekend's box office. And I guess I have to apologize to DreamWorks because I was saying that Home was going to bomb. Predicted 15 million. You said 25, but man.
I said only 25?
You said only 25.
Oh.
See, that's how down we were with DreamWorks.
Yeah, I know.
And the movie, but it's surprising.
Wait, but didn't I say something like, hey, this is one of the few movies that my kids wanted to see months in ahead.
True.
Oh, and that's why I put it at 25 instead of 15,
right? That's why you put it because we were going by previous DreamWorks efforts.
Yeah.
And I thought you were very favorable to the company.
But obviously I wasn't favorable enough because they did 54 million.
54 million, came in number one.
Yep, they're back in business. DreamWorks is back in business.
Yes, because they have a couple of duds.
Yep.
And then they hit one with Home.
That's the thing. Even if you have a couple misses in a row, as long as you score one big hit, that can make up for a couple misfires. As long as they're not other complete duds. And this is not just one, because when you hit one home run, that's a potential franchise and spin-offs.
The thing with animation is that there are auxiliary income.
Oh, yeah.
Like toys, right? Video games. It's not a one-off where something like Insurgent or something. Well, Insurgent, they have toys. They have toys, right?
Yeah, but
most movies don't have toys or clothing.
Yeah, not at this level, though. Not at this level. The booths will sell like crazy. I mean, they're pretty much the Minions, except with different colors. Imagine that. Not only can they sell one minion, they can sell like different color minions.
That is true. You know what? Does DreamWorks know what they're doing? I mean, yeah, sure, this is, I guess, a surprise hit, right?
Yeah.
But do you think they're on track now? Have they gotten it together where the next one is pretty much a guaranteed hit, or the one after, and not like 4 misses and a hit?
Right. So here's an interesting thing. Remember how you mentioned that you didn't like their DreamWorks character design?
Yeah.
Like Shrek and Ants, and they kind of solved it with this. Like Home, the booths, the characters are really cute looking. They're very soft and they're very colorful and exactly like the medicine that you thought they needed.
Right.
And make things more colorful.
Yeah, that's true. The characters are not angular anymore.
Yeah,
like
soft
the people,
and squishy and
Yeah, people's faces are like round, smooth.
Yeah, and cuddly and more mainstream, I guess.
Yeah.
And they, even though I didn't think the movie was very good, but it's inoffensive. They're cute, they're cuddly, kids will love it. It's the kind of movie that you can bring your kids to and they'll be distracted for a couple hours.
Right, and they're gonna want the toys.
Yeah, yep, they're gonna want the toys.
Okay, so DreamWorks get to live another day.
Yeah. Another thing that I thought was interesting about this and DreamWorks in general, they're like one of the few. I'm not one of them. They're probably the only one who consistently get African American celebrities to voice the characters for their films.
The perception to me is that they try to get the older teens. So, and that usually means what's hip and cool right now, I guess. Mm-hmm. So they cast someone like Chris Rock, Rihanna, and who else?
In the past, they casted Will Smith.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like they're one of the, if not probably the one that consistently does it more than the other studios, which is kind of at least it's kind of different.
Sometimes with DreamWorks, I feel that they might not know what they're doing. It could be like a coincidence that they did it.
It's hard to say. I mean, with the recent string of duds like Turbo and Mr. Peabody, and it's kind of like a medium, not quite a dud, not quite a gigantic hit. But they did get, How to Train Your Dragon, and they did do The Croods, and now they have Home. So hopefully it'll set them back on track. And even Penguins of Madagascar, it disappointed in the US. It only made about 83 million, but worldwide it's at 370 million. And that movie's going to turn a profit. They originally had a write down for the film after it only did like 83 million in the US.
Right.
With it doing so well internationally, I think, especially with DVD, they're going to turn a profit on that film.
Hopefully, because with overseas market, you can't really book the money until they give them to you.
Yeah, so, but even then, the home video market is so much larger than the theatrical market. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, for instance, in the U.S. alone, I think the theatrical market is only about 10 to 11 billion. Mm-hmm. But the home video market is 18 to 20 billion. Especially for kids films or animated films, they perform really well on home video. And I think worldwide, for U.S. films only, the home video market is like 30 billion or something compared to like 20 billion theatrical.
Right.
So, with Penguins of Madagascar doing about 370 million worldwide, when it hits DVD, it's going to turn a tidy profit for them, even though it did disappointing business in the US.
All right, that's good to hear. I guess I'm sure the shareholders and Jeffrey Katzenberg they're relieved to hear that.
They'll be relieved to hear that. The IRS, they're probably hoping that the IRS won't hear that because they did a write down for the film.
Well, they can always amend and pay taxes on it. So
yeah. Well, like you said, eventually they'll figure a way to say that the film lost money.
Oh yeah. No movie ever made money.
Yeah, true.
So
even home, they will find a way to say it didn't make any money.
Right.
So yeah, surprisingly, 54 million. That's really good, and it's an original animated feature too, not a sequel.
Yeah. Even a movie like Big Hero 6 opened to around that amount. And I think that Big Hero 6 is a better movie. But
yeah, it is. Yeah. You know what else is also great about home? It opened the week before spring break.
Well, some are already on spring break, so
yes, some are already on spring break. But what this means is that the next week it's gonna clean house. Like if it did 54 million this week, the whole week when most of the kids are out of school, it's gonna do really well.
Okay, right. Again, DreamWorks animation.
Back on track.
Yes. Until the next write down.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's good to hear that an independent, another animation studio is successful.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want it to be Disney and Pixar all the time.
I'm sure Fox is happy.
Yeah. Doesn't Fox have its own animation studio?
They did. They used to.
Blue Sky or something like that.
Yeah, they have the Ice Age movies, which have been huge internationally. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They have their own, and then they're distributing DreamWorks. Which,
maybe they just can't produce enough. And as we know, the family market is huge.
Mm-hmm. Is the Meatball movies Fox?
Meatball is Sony.
Oh, it's Sony. Okay, but yeah, Fox has the Ice Age movies worldwide. They're humongous. I mean,
but it's like a couple years between Ice Ages, I mean.
That's true. Yeah, a couple of years between Ice Ages.
So they're not churning them out fast enough to capitalize on kids grow up, they move on. It's a match that's good for both studios, so they can have more out there.
Yeah, right. Should we move on to Get Hard?
Yes, Get Hard.
It did on the upper end of expectations.
Yeah, you say 35, so you're right there.
Yeah, at least I'm right there with one of them.
Yes. Okay. I was going for 30.
Oh, I wasn't. 35. I wasn't a knock on you, but no.
Well, I know what I said, so yeah. Okay.
Wait, what was your prediction?
I was saying 30, so which is okay.
We're right on the mark.
But I just missed out completely on home. But Get Hard.
Yeah, that's
with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell. Like we said, two comedians teaming up on a comedy, I think works better than just one, like Vince Vaughn. Or it could be just that Vince Vaughn's time.
Yeah, I think Vince Vaughn's time has come and gone. Yeah. But I guess like the Adam Sandler grown-up movies, those have opened in the 40 to 50 million range. But Adam Sandler by himself likely haven't been doing that well.
Right, so you need to get a lot of funny people together. I mean, carrying a film by yourself is hard. You know?
Yeah.
So with a couple more, it increases the chances of success. And yeah,
most of the time. Most of the time,
you can still have duds. What are the recent comedies with Robert De Niro? You know, he did a couple of comedies, and it didn't do as well.
I think Robert De Niro in the Meet the Fockers, he has Ben Stiller, where he plays the kind of a straight man to Ben Stiller. He by himself isn't, funny enough.
Exactly. So I'm saying you need more. You know, like carrying a film by yourself is hard. Especially comedy.
It depends. Like like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, they work well enough because one is super serious and one is super funny, and they play off of each other. But Tommy Lee Jones can never headline a comedy by himself.
Right.
So I feel like that's the same way with Robert De Niro. He could be funny if he's teamed up with a funny man. But him by himself, he's not a funny man.
Right. He needs to play the straight guy.
Yeah. With Get Hard, they got two funny men, and it did on the upper end of both of their past performances, which is very good.
Yeah.
And the film cost only $40 million.
Well, comedies is another genre that is cheap to make. You just pay the people.
You pay the comedians.
Yes.
They provide the laughs, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And most often than not, they're pretty successful.
Yeah. And this is one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those very, very broad comedies. It's not a very good movie. I saw it. It's not a good movie, but it's one of those very, very broad comedies that you can get your friends over, have a beer, not think too much, and just laugh at the silliness.
Yeah, exactly. It had a storyline that started off as a joke. Hey, there's a white guy, he's going to prison and he needs to get hard, to laugh.
From a guy, from Kevin Hart of all people, who's like the least Dougie person you can think of.
Right. So the movie got, sold or made just with that line. Oh yeah, I think it's funny.
Yeah, right. And they do play with the Get Hard.
Right.
As with a lot of box office analysis.
Right. It writes itself,
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 3. Insurgent, the sequel to Divergent. In its second week, made 22 and experienced almost a 58% drop.
In 2 weeks, it's made 86 million at a budget of 110 million. Compared to the first film, it's about 8 million behind. Mm-hmm. Which is not bad. Usually, you want your sequel to make more, but in this case, it's not too bad of a drop.
Right, that's true. But I'm still gonna, hammer this point in. Shailene Woodley is not there yet.
I think she's there. Ben.
Okay.
When you have 3 consecutive movies opening to 50+ million, they're there.
No, I'm gonna stick by that. Oh, you watch the next movie.
Yeah, if the next movie she makes, that's not an indie movie. Let's say she makes a broad, a movie that opens in 3,000 theaters. It's gonna open decent.
Okay, then if it happened, I'm gonna come, on the air and apologize. Okay, right. But that's why the drop.
Well, the second weekend drop is more. Even the first film, it wasn't too far off from the first film. I think the first film, second weekend dropped by like 54%. Not as high, 58, but similarly as much. I guess one of those films where the fan base just washed out. I guess typical of most sci-fi films.
That's true, but again, this is one of the movies that has a huge opening, right? And as typical of movies with huge openings, that's based on popular novel or what have you, for it to have a huge drop-off is not inconceivable.
Especially in the sci-fi genre.
Mm-hmm.
Sci-fi movies aren't as bad as horror movies, but both of those genres have this fan base that are washed out to see it on opening weekend. So it seems like Divergent is following the same kind of trend. I guess one thing that speaks to the series is because it didn't do, like I think the Twilight films and the Hunger Games, their second film opened significantly higher than the first film. So the fact that this one didn't open higher, but instead is slightly lower, means that it'll get to the third and fourth film, but by the fourth film, it'll probably not do nearly as well, unless the third film really is really good.
Right, and like the Hunger Games, right? Hunger Games gained fans. Divergent actually lost some.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to Cinderella.
Okay, number 4, Cinderella. 17.5 million in its third weekend. It's made 150 million so far.
Although the drop-offs have been kind of high for a family film though, like 50% each week, nearly 50% each week. But still, I mean, it's at 150 million. It looks like it'll probably eventually make 180 or even get close to 200, but maybe not. But still, it's a huge hit already.
Yeah, exactly. So third week, 150 million, and it's still within the just a tad below 20 million. Huge success.
That's pretty good.
So I guess we can look forward to more live action fairy tales from Disney, and I think it's going to perform within the similar amount.
Yep. All right, should we move on to number 5? It Follows.
Surprising! It Follows. It's a horror movie. That's in its third week of release. It actually went wide.
And I guess 4 million for I don't know what the budget is, but I think it's pretty low. And it's one of those films where it did well enough in select theaters that they gave it a wide release.
As we said in previous podcasts, horror movies are like cheap to make, especially when it's full of no names.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay them. They pay you to be in it.
Right.
And yeah, it made 4 million, which is decent, I guess.
Yeah, I guess when you expense so wide so soon, I mean 3,000 per screen is not that. It's kind of like average, but it's one of those films where when it was released in limited screens, I think during its first week, the per screen average was like 40,000. And then when they expanded to 30-something theaters, it dropped to like 10,000. Still decent, and now it expanded to over 1,000 theaters. So 4 million is pretty good. I think they said that it didn't put that much money into advertising. They just advertise it through social media and online. So no big billboards, no big TV ads. So it's considered a pretty decent opening, wide opening.
Right. But then it expanded and it cracked the top 5. So
that's pretty good. Right. All right. Let's move on to number 6, Kingsman: The Secret Service. It made about 3 million this week. The total is about 119 million, and it's still. I'm just surprised by how well it's holding up. The drop-off is only about 36%. It seems like this film just does consistently well week after week after week. It's like it's still finding its audience, which is surprising, especially for an action film.
This is a movie that is pretty much a new original movie that's based on a novel. I mean, not a novel, but based on a comic book. Probably not a lot of people know about it. For it to make almost 120 million, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
and it's still in theaters, and it's still making 3 million in the seventh weekend.
Yeah, there's actually word of mouth because it's still finding new audiences, because it's been holding up really well. People are still going, oh, what's the Kingsman? How come it's still up there? How come it's still around? And I guess people...
Oh, you know what I think it is?
What?
It's the exploding heads. People watching and say, whoa, exploding heads. You got to check out the exploding heads. or what? The woman with blades.
Yeah, the prosthetic, sword legs.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's what's great about these. I think one of the reviews I mentioned said, hey, this is like a James Bond movie, really. I think they mentioned it in the film too. With the James Bond movies, what makes the James Bond movies is memorable villains. And this one has a really memorable villain. It doesn't get more memorable than some sexy hot lady with prosthetic legs made of swords that can kill people. And she does martial arts with them.
Yeah, she could hold it in her hands, but that'll be too simple, too easy. No, it has to be the legs.
Yeah, you can do much more with legs. Imagine all those taekwondo kicks. The kickboxing kicks, man, or capoeira kicks. Jeez. Or even Jim Carter.
That's it.
Right.
Okay, moving on. Number 7, Run All Night, 2.2 million.
Oh, I think you skipped one.
I did? No, I didn't.
Wait, are you looking at this?
Number 6 was The Kingsman.
Yeah, number 7 is Do You Believe?
Oh, they changed it. No.
Oh, you're looking at the old one. Oh.
I was looking at the old one.
Okay.
I refreshed, and it. Okay. Moving on. Number 7. Do you believe 2.3 million in its second weekend?
Actually kind of holding up decent, huh? The 36% drop
Yeah,
off.
the drop off is only 36%.
But overall, it's still the genre is definitely going downhill quick because the previous Christian films made 50 million or even 100 million. So now we're down to like, hey, if it makes 10 million is.
But you know what? I think before it became mainstream, I think these movies were making about like 10, 15-ish million.
Yeah.
So I think it fell back to its mean, I guess.
Yeah, it had this 15 minutes. Now it's, the 15 minutes is gone.
Right.
It seems. I mean, it seems like these churchgoers are like, look, we can't be supporting these movies every single week.
Right. But the good thing is that there is money.
Yeah, there is money
to be made within the Christian genre, but it's just that right now you need.
It's a little bit saturated. It doesn't have to be good. It seems like, hey, churchgoer seems to it's like, hey, we'll support these maybe one Christian film a year, but not one Christian film every month. They're like, we'll donate money once a year, but not every single month.
Right. But I'm just saying, the big hits prove that there's money to be made. If they focus on quality, I think you can tap into the market. But you just can't just throw in another biblical tale or another story. As long as you keep the theme of faith and build from there. But if you just throw simple things, just try to cash in, then no.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there's definitely an audience for it, but if you're just cashing in, the churchgoers realize it now. They're in on it.
They support it so they can have more of these movies made, but not more of these quickly produced cheap.
Not quick chippies. Yeah. Let's get back to number 8, Run All Night.
Yes, Run All Night, 2.1 million, 56% drop off from the previous week, and only made 23 or 24 million over 3 weeks. So not a good outing for.
Yeah. Especially with a budget of 50 million, and the reviews were decent. So it's actually, most people who've seen it said it's actually one of Liam Neeson's better films in a while. I was thinking word of mouth would help it, but it doesn't seem like it's helping at all. And it seems like people are just tired of, I guess you can't have too much Liam Neeson movies.
Right. It's Liam Neeson again with a gun again, running away. I guess they're just tired of him playing this role. Before I said that they could probably watch these type of movies forever, but I guess not. There is a point where they say too much.
Kind of like the Christian genres,
Wow, we're associating Christian genre with the Liam Neeson genre.
Yeah.
And it is a genre.
Yeah, it is a genre. Yeah. And I guess people are finally like, hey, all right, you have your 15 minutes. Let's move on.
Yeah,
don't give us too much of it. Don't give us too much of it. Like, just give us one Christian movie or one Liam Neeson movie a year, and we're fine.
Right. Audience was saying, Liam Neeson, save it for Taken 4.
Yeah, right. Okay, number 9, the second Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, with about 2.1 million, 28 million so far at a budget of 10 million. So it's a successful film. Didn't do nearly as well as the first film, but I don't think they're complaining.
No. I mean, I expect the movie to hold up better, but it didn't.
Yeah, same here. I expected it to hold up better too.
Yeah, I was expecting it to stay in the 9th, 10th place for a couple of weeks and then didn't fall off, but it dropped faster than we expected.
Yeah, so we might not see the third best exotic Marigold Hotel.
In which they opened a third exotic Marigold Hotel.
And
the third best hotel.
Yeah.
And they added another old guy.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe the film, I mean, it only cost 10 million and it's already made 30 million, so who knows? Right?
True. It might play well overseas for it to warrant another movie. The movie only cost 10 million to make. Yeah, and it's already worldwide. It's already at 67 million.
Yeah. So hey, who knows? We might see another one. All right. Should we move on to the Bruce Lee of Liam Neeson movies at number 10?
Yes, the number 10, the Gunman, 2 million. Wow, almost 60% drop from the previous week, and it only made 8.8 million, and with a budget of 40. This movie is in the Liam Neeson genre without Liam Neeson. The Sean Penn, Javier Bardem tried to get a piece of the pie,
and they were too late.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, Liam Neeson ate everything before they got there. Liam Neeson did 4 in the last year, so maybe he saw them coming. They're like, oh, I better eat up this pie before they get here. Because Liam Neeson did 4 movies in the last year.
Right.
So when Sean Penn got there wasn't much left.
True. And The Gunman is directed by the guy who directed the first Taken movie.
Yeah.
Right. Produced by Joe Silver.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, why watch it when you have the real thing in theater, right? Why watch an imitation?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Chappie is at 77 million.
You mean worldwide? Chappie.
Yeah, worldwide. Yeah, 77 million worldwide. With a budget of 49 million. Hey, if it can make 150 worldwide, it's pretty good. It still hasn't been released in a bunch of big markets like China or Japan, and those could potentially push it to 150 million by themselves.
So, and since the movie is like 50 million, it did okay. But of course, we probably won't see a sequel unless they want to. I mean, unless it's like really huge overseas.
Yeah,
like the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah, if it makes 200 worldwide, then they'll do a sequel. It's at 77 million. We don't know until it opens in China or Japan or Russia. Some of the emerging markets.
Okay. American Sniper is still hanging on in 13th place, like 874K. Right now, it's at 345 million. Across the 534 or 35 million worldwide.
Oh, wow.
And it is the highest grossing movie of 2014.
Nice. on a limited front, there's While We're Young. Oh, Ben Stiller and Naomi Watts. Opened to 227,000 with a per screen average of 56,000, which is pretty good. So it might be a movie to watch out for.
Oh, you mean
coming weeks.
You'll expand?
Yeah, it'll probably expand, and we'll see how well it does when it expands.
Right. Serena with the Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper. You can watch it in VOD, but now it's having its theatrical debut.
Yeah, and it's a complete dub.
And it's it's about 100K, and I think the movie was done a couple years ago. I don't know how long ago, but I think they know what they have on their hands. That's why they didn't release it wide.
Yeah, at 100,000, 59 theaters, it's a per screen average of 1,700, which is a dud in any format.
Right. Besides, the people who really want to watch this movie probably checked it out on VOD first.
Right.
And I'm not sure if there's any marketing for this movie. I think they just throw this thing out there.
Yeah.
Okay, The Wedding Ringer is nearing 65 million.
Mm-hmm. Still, Alice is nearly 18 million, which is pretty good for a film that no one has heard of until the Oscars.
Right.
Okay, we can move on.
Okay, moving on to openings. There's just only one wide release, and that is Furious 7.
Yeah.
Not Fast and the Furious, but just Furious 7.
Yeah.
Which is the 7th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise.
It's like P. Diddy when he dropped off the P, right? He's now only Diddy.
I'm not sure. He had a couple of name changes.
Oh, okay, all right.
He might have changed it back. So.
Oh, okay, all right. When you drop off characters in your name, it's like it means like you reach a certain level.
Yeah, it's just like when you have one name, then that's just you.
Then you're there.
You own that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one else can be you.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you think this is gonna do? There's Paul Walker. Everyone, it's his last big film, last mainstream movie. And it's a hugely popular franchise that has been refreshed and rejuvenated by Justin Lin. for a film that's on the 6 and 7 installments, is doing better now than the originals, which is very impressive. With Furious 7, they replaced Justin Lin with James Wan, who's popular for making horror films.
Yes, the Saw movies.
The Conjuring,
Insidious.
Basically, he's the top guy of horror films, and he moved on to Furious 7. When I first heard of that, I wasn't as convinced because I saw him do that Kevin Bacon action thriller movie, and I wasn't too impressed. Death Sentence. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed by that. In his, in James Wan's first foray into action movies, because I feel like he mixed a lot of horror elements that I felt like didn't quite fit the action genre.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's gore, it's too dark. I didn't feel like that mixes very well with action movies.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like with Furious 7 on Rotten Tomatoes is already, with 25 reviews so far, is at 84%, which is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair to James Wan, right? Death Sentence was his only third film.
Yeah.
Right. He was doing horrors before, so he's still early in his career. So that's why you see this. I mean, I have to say, with the Fast and Furious franchise, it accomplished a rare thing where each movie did way better than the previous one, with the exception of Tokyo Drift, where they didn't have like any of the guys.
Any of the originals involved. Yeah.
Right. And Furious 6 had a 97 million opening.
Really impressive. So Furious 7, what do you think the numbers are? It's opening this weekend, which is spring break weekend.
Yes.
So,
and with the awareness, I guess, with Paul Walker, his final film, I think they might get a bump from that as well.
Yeah.
I think Furious 7 is going to open similar, if not more, than.
So 98 million?
Yeah, I guess it would be 97, 98 million.
Mm-hmm.
If it follows the trend of the previous movie, it has to open more, right? If it opens more, then it has to be above 97.
Yeah, see, because
can it do 100? You think? Can it do 100?
No, I think it'll probably do better than 100. Mainly because the awareness is even higher than Fast and Furious 6.
Yeah.
We might have some records.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
I'm expecting records to be broken for at least spring.
Give us your number. Give us your number for Furious 7.
How about 140?
Wow. Wait, 140. What other movies open that high?
Wait, Catching Fire did 160. What did The Avengers do? The Avengers was like 180? No, The Avengers was 207.
Wow. So it's entirely possible.
Yeah, so I'm saying 140. What do you think?
I think you might be right. I will go 135.
135?
Yep.
What, that's it?
Yep.
I was thinking you would go 20 million lower or 20 million higher.
20 million higher. No, I'm going to be conservative with this one because it's like I say, this entirely possible. It could even make more.
Yeah.
140, right? Because we don't know, because there's this uncertain element to this movie.
Yeah.
So you might be on the right side more than me, but I'm gonna go conservative and say 135. I mean, assuming that like Paul Walker didn't die, right? I mean, I'm assuming that's what it may make even a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, like I say, uncertain element.
Yeah. Right. Especially since the early reviews have been so enthusiastic,
Right.
It's not just, Paul Walker's last film. It's like the goodwill build up from the previous film. I think Fast and Furious 6 was pretty well reviewed too. I think the tomato meter was like 75, 80%.
Yeah. The movie actually shifted from a movie about cars to actually an action movie that involved cars. That has like cars parachuting out of airplanes.
No, but this is the Expendables. This is pretty much the Expendables with younger action stars.
Yeah, I mean moved beyond street racing. They're like spy elements.
Yeah.
You know, so it moved beyond its roots to become this like huge thing. I mean, it's the shift between Rocky 3 and Rocky 4. You know, it became like outrageous.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah,
it is entirely possible that it can do 160, but yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I say, we don't know how Paul Walker's death contributed to the movie's box office. Like it has certainly given the movie, you know, much more awareness. But how will that translate into the box office figure, right? We don't know. Okay.
Right, we shall see. We shall see this coming. We'll see on Friday.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, you know, I was surprised by home. I checked on Friday, right, and I say, "Whoa, it really made that much on Friday." Okay. Then I knew I was completely wrong. And
when it makes nearly as much as what you expected for the whole weekend, right. I was surprised too. I was like, "Whoa, okay, DreamWorks is back in again."
Right. So we'll know this Friday, but by the at the earliest, and we'll come back next week and see how we did.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? They'll definitely have midnight screening, so we'll probably know by Friday morning.
Right.
Or some kind of indication. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, next week, and we actually completed this podcast with all the distraction.
Multiple distractions.
Which is pretty good. We did it. We made it. We crossed the finish line. We're here.
Right.
So, and we'll come back next week and do it again. Yes.
All right. See you guys next week.